Quarterback Sam Bradford done for the rest of the season. The St. Louis Rams confirmed Monday morning that quarterback has a torn ACL in his left knee and will miss the rest of the season. I'm joined now by Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman Sports Desk. Jenny, thanks for your time today. He had an MRI that confirmed that damage to the left knee. You are writing for an upcoming story in the Oklahoman about the injury in his career.
Yeah, definitely a disappointing injury for Sam Bradford, and made even more disappointing by the fact that he was having his best season as a pro. Year 4, they've had a ton of coach turnover, a ton of offensive coordinator turnover, just didn't have the talent around him. He spent his first 3 seasons in St. Louis really kind of running for his life and trying to make plays as much as he could, but he was actually having a great day on Sunday when he got injured, was 21 of 30 for 255 yards, and just really disappointing that this good season that he was having falls by the wayside. And now I think there are some questions out there about his future with the Rams. His contract runs through the 2015 season, but the Rams have some things going for him that makes you wonder, what are they going to do moving forward?
Well, they're going to bring in the backup quarterback, but then they need to bring in a backup to that backup quarterback. Yeah. It's a mess in St. Louis right now. They're 3-4 this season, and you really thought the parts were coming together for the Rams and for Bradford, who's never really had a solid running game, never really had that offensive line. You saw him on his back an awful lot throughout his career. Yeah,
definitely so. Yeah, he definitely was in a bad position much of his career, and you know, it looks like things may be turning in St. Louis. It will be interesting though. They have 2 first-round draft picks already in the 2014 draft, which could mean they could potentially go out and find some additional protection for him, maybe get some improvement in their running game, which has suffered of late. It was good when he first got there, decent when he first got there, now not so much. But there's also a question of the quarterback class in the 2014 draft. It's pretty decent. Would they potentially think about moving to another quarterback? Sam Bradford, really the last of the big bonus babies. He's got some big contract numbers coming down the pipe. The Rams said earlier this season that they wanted to extend Sam Bradford. Now, with the injury, who knows? They may look to do something different. They have some pieces in place where they could potentially do that.
You know, I think last night the Colts and the Broncos played. I think a lot of us saw that in Andrew Luck with the Colts. Isn't it amazing how some quarterbacks go to a situation like the Rams and they just continue to flounder because of the parts around them? But you look at Luck, who's dropped in with Indianapolis. They completely rebuilt. They're already on their feet again, playing really well. Yeah,
definitely so. I mean, you think about some of these guys that really made these big contracts in the draft. And, you know, Matt Ryan came not too many years before Sam Bradford, was a huge contract. And you look at what's happened in Atlanta, they've had success. Now, this year they've been a little up and down, but if you look at what they've built around him in Atlanta, it's been impressive. He's become known as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and yet Sam Bradford goes to St. Louis, and they just haven't been able to get the pieces put together. And obviously, coaching changes never helps you. Offensive coordinator changes. It's been different schemes and systems and different things like that it's tough to get adjusted to. I mean, you do the best you can when you're in a position like Sam Bradford has been, but clearly he's been faced with a bit of a deficit both in personnel around him and sort of stability. And we'll see if he gets a chance to continue to build in St. Louis, or maybe this signals sort of the beginning of the end for him.
Well, and one last question based on that. At this point in his career, do you say he was a bust, or do you just say, the story's not told yet?
Yeah, I don't know if it's told just yet, but clearly this is a sort of a beginning of a second act for Sam Bradford. You know, his Oklahoma career obviously ended with him hurt on the sideline, that shoulder injury that he suffered, and he never really got to restart it. He tried to come back, still hurt, ended up having surgery to begin his professional training and that sort of thing. But he's still got a lot of tread on the tires, if you will. I mean, and the way that modern medicine is now, they're going to repair that ACL, and you would think it would be as good as it's ever been. Sam Bradford, a very athletic guy that's been well chronicled here throughout his time in Oklahoma and whether high school or college. So he's always been a guy that you know, has shown athleticism. We'll see. You know, I don't think you can necessarily say the final chapters have been written, but clearly the battle is uphill now for Sam Bradford. He's going to have to really rehab that knee to get back to where he was when he got hurt yesterday.
Jenny Carlson, we appreciate the time and the expertise. Look for that story from her in upcoming editions of the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. And I got to tell you, her alongside Mike Baldwin host the Hudaburg Fantasy Football each week. So it'll be interesting to see what Mike says in light of this injury. All right.